A live look now at a somber St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City. The world is remembering Pope Francis, who died this morning at 88 years old. The Vatican says at 7:35 this morning, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the home of the Father. Pope Francis died weeks after leaving the hospital, where he was treated for double pneumonia. His death comes just a day after he greeted thousands of faithful who filled St. Peter's Square for Easter Sunday. As Rena Roy reports, the world got to see Pope Francis one last time just hours before his passing, calling for peace in his final hours.
The bells at St. Peter's Basilica ringing out today, marking the death of Pope Francis. The Vatican says he passed away around 7:30 a.m. in Rome at the age of 88. Flags at half-staff across Rome, mourners leaving flowers in the Vatican's piazza, and people praying outside the Basilica where he'll be buried.
I think it was a great pope.
It's a very sad day for the Roman Catholic faith.
The news comes just a day after Pope Francis celebrated Easter with thousands of faithful, blessing the crowd and wishing them a happy Easter.
Buona Pasqua.
In his final message, the Pope calling for peace around the world. He greeted the faithful from the Pope-mobile.
People are a bit stunned that this news of the Pope's passing should come immediately on the heels of Easter Sunday, when we all watched the Pope give this blessing.
The Pope also meeting Sunday with Vice President J.D. Vance, who said today in a statement he was happy to see him. Pope Francis was historic in many ways, injecting a new wave of optimism into the church and making history as the first pope from Latin America and the first Jesuit. Francis called for a larger role for women in the church. At the same time, he reaffirmed church opposition to female priests. He took steps to express compassion for the LGBTQ community, saying we are all children of God, while holding fast to the church's strict teachings. He was often referred to as the People's Pope, known for his humility and humor, his warmth with children, and his compassion for the poor and the sick.
I would ask each of you, whatever your capacity, to care one another, be close to one another, respect one another. I bless each one of you from my heart.
The process for selecting a successor typically begins 15 to 20 days after a pope's death. Cardinals from around the world will gather in a secluded area inside Vatican City before voting on a new pope in the Sistine Chapel. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Well, members of St. Anthony Catholic Church in Davenport paid tribute to the Pope during their noon mass today. Many parishioners say they loved Pope Francis and the ideas he stood for. They say they appreciated his kindness, tolerance, and progressive impact on the Catholic Church around the world. Father Brian Miklo says he hopes the next pope will continue Francis's legacy of acceptance.
He's been a really great pope. I hate to miss him. I hate to see him go. I think he was so kind and so different to people who had been snubbed in ways by the church.
Father Miklo says he encourages people to leave flowers and pay their respects to Pope Francis at the memorial they set up in front of the church near 4th and Main Streets in downtown Davenport. For more on the life and legacy of Pope Francis, head to our 8+ app. There's a live feed of St. Peter's Square in Vatican City, along with 2 programs about Pope Francis available on demand. Download for free and watch on your Roku, Amazon, or Apple devices.